Hello and welcome to Saints Live, the final whistle. I'm Steve Forbes,
And I'm Kenzie Benali.
and an absolutely thrilling night in North London as Southampton come from behind twice to beat Spurs 3-2. An absolutely sensational result from the Saints, and here to discuss all the action with us, we have Dean Hammond and Adrian Kajumba. Dean, we'll come to you first. I'm just about to get my breath back, mate. That was absolutely brilliant at the end there.
I mean, what a game! An emotional roller coaster at the end. The first half, I think that's the best I've seen Southampton play. Completely dominated Tottenham. Tottenham didn't have any answers to them. The amount of chances they created, and good chances as well, opportunities that potentially could have done better, and the game could have been outside. But tactically brilliant. We talked about it before the game. Two wide players played centrally, just outnumbered the Tottenham players and got into little pockets and holes, and the fullbacks were flying forward and almost playing like wingers. The two central strikers caused Tottenham all sorts of problems, and it was fantastic to watch. And the only frustration was it was 1-1 at half time, and thinking, is it going to be one of those games where Southampton are going to regret this and think we needed to get that second goal? And when Tottenham got the second goal, controversial goal in my opinion, and then we're going to talk about that, but I think it's definitely a foul. I think there's no doubt about that in terms of how I see the game. But then what a response. What a response again from Southampton, and two brilliant goals. Timing of Elyounoussi run, he just sees that opportunity, sees the space. A brilliant ball from James Ward-Prowse. That ball comes back to him. I think Glenn Hoddle mentioned in the commentary, if James had had that touch, it would have prevented the chance for a Tottenham defence to be able to get back into that space to cover. But the delivery first time was fantastic. And then again, the deliveries for Shea Adams header. So brilliant game. And then the VAR has Southampton out at the end with the disallowed goal. So, I mean, what a game. They're the sort of games that is why we all love the Premier League. We all love watching it. Just high entertainment. And I must admit, I'm getting really excited at home, and they're the sort of games that makes you want to play again. Even the arguments on the touchline, where after Tottenham's goal and everyone, coming together. I love all that about football, and that is the hustle and bustle and the beauty of the English game. But what a game, and fully deserved from Southampton. They were absolutely brilliant tonight.
Yeah, they were indeed. Adrian, a game full of drama. A great watch for the neutrals, but even better if you're a Saints fan.
Oh, definitely, and fully deserved at the end. You might see the score, and the final score just doesn't tell you half of what happened in that game. Your emotions are all over the place at half time, as Dean says. You're thinking, how are Saints not, 3, 4, maybe even 5 goals ahead with the amount of chances they created, and then they find themselves 2-1 down in controversial circumstances, and then the two quick goals to win it and sort of turn it around at the end. And in some ways, there's a bit of justice that Spurs had that goal ruled out at the end. There's, a VAR controversy there, the way that Spurs are allowed to almost get away with the goal that put them ahead 2-1. But unbelievable game, great game. And yes, as you said, great one for the neutrals to watch tonight.
Yeah, it was just exhilarating, wasn't it? We absolutely loved it here. Now, before the scoring even started, Adrian, obviously Shea Adams had a fantastic chance before Reguilon forced that brilliant save out of Fraser Forster. In your opinion, should it have actually been 1-1 much earlier?
Yeah, probably should have actually. And it was very interesting to see that Shea chance so early, because I did mention before about the chances that Spurs almost allow the opposition to create, and they do give them away. They do give the opposition encouragement, and I think getting that chance so early on was almost like a sign of things to come. And in terms of the Reguilon chance, it's a great save from Fraser Forster. He's just got to stay big. As a sign of that threat that I mentioned in the pre-show about Spurs on the counter attack. Really quick move, Kane's ball across to the far post, but a great save, as I said, Forster's staying big and sort of saving that sort of one-on-one chance.
Dean, it does feel a bit of a shame to have to talk about the Bednarek own goal after everything that followed, but we do have to touch on it. So, could he have done any better there?
Difficult one, Steve. It's good play from Tottenham. It's a good third man run from Højbjerg to get into that space, and a bit of confusion from James Ward-Prowse, I think it is, and Perro, who goes to the runner, who stays, who closes the ball down. And then it's a very, very good, intelligent run from Son, to be fair, to get across that first post. Strikers always in training encouraged to get across the front post, whether it be an opportunity for them or whether it creates space for another striker or it causes a confusion, which it did for Bednarek to try and clear it and stretch and overstretch and ended up scoring an own goal. So look, you can analyse it, but the game moves so quickly, and it was good one-touch football from Tottenham. And I think you have to just say, look, it's a very, very good goal. And if Bednarek doesn't get there and doesn't make contact, I think Son's going to score anyway. So it's difficult, and you could see the disappointment in him and almost like, oh, me again sort of thing, because he scored a couple of own goals. But he's doing the right thing, in my opinion. You know, he's trying to prevent that run. He's trying to get there first. He's being committed. He's being brave. And it's just unfortunate he can't get a clean contract on it. You could say maybe goes with the wrong leg, could have gone with his left leg, but he goes with his right because he's more natural foot, as he's been right-footed, and kind of comes off his studs, and no chance for Fraser Forster. But you look at it from that point on, Southampton were brilliant. And again, it's that reaction, it's that mentality that seems to be within the group now. You know, that the disappointment that potentially last year would have deflated the team has almost like galvanised the team now. Okay, let's go and prove ourselves. Let's go and play. And they did that from that moment on, and were fantastic.
Well, let's talk about the first Saints goal now then, shall we? I mean, Adrian, you spoke about Broja's pace and power before the game, but I mean, that finish, you know, for the Saints equaliser, it was just pure instinct, wasn't it? What did you make of that goal and his overall impact on the game today?
It's, you know, when you look at just a finish, you might go, oh, it's just a simple tap-in, but just the way he adjusts so quickly when that ball flashes across the box to sort of readjust the position of his foot so that he only needs one touch to divert the ball from the direction it's coming into the net. Just, you know, such a great instinctive finish. And I don't know, he's just shown such a variety in his finishing. I just think he's a really exciting player to watch and see how he develops because of the sort of the variety, you know, to use that word again, that he's shown in his game and in his finishing. It's just great to see the platform Southampton are giving him and what he's showing. They were great down the left, Southampton, in the first half particularly. Perot really sort of stood out for me. I thought him and Elyounoussi, the way they combined, were great. And it was from one of those moves that it all started. And the goal was, you know, as well as how Southampton has started, they'd actually had a couple of chances as well after going behind. Broja wriggled through and forced a save from Hugo Lloris, or maybe he could have crossed, and then James Ward-Prowse had a shot as well, which forced a save out of Hugo Lloris as well. So the equaliser was coming, and, you know, as I said at the start, it's just a great show and display of Broja's finishing sort of ability.
Dean, I've got some stats for you here, mate. In the first half, Southampton had 16 attempts, 7 of which were on target. Now, in terms of total attempts, that's the most for Saints in the first half of a Premier League game since records began. Adrian mentioned a few players that had attempts and all went close. So should it have been all over by half-time?
I think it definitely could have been, Steve. Whether it should have been or not, I think there's a couple of good saves. You know, Perot's strike against the crossbar is a brilliant strike. If you look at the chances, James Ward-Prowse is a good sight, it's a good save. Broja potentially, where, you know, the chance before he scores, could he square it to Shea Adams potentially? The one he goes through one-on-one. Previously, he's shown really good composure, and he kind of snatches it a little bit, almost surprised that he is through, but shows good pace and power like we spoke about to get in that position. And there was many other, Stuart Armstrong's header, good save again, I think. So there was a few half chances. Salisu header, you know, in the corner that could have gone in, and the Tottenham defended well. So yeah, look, at half time it could have been 3 or 4-1. And I don't think Tottenham could have complained, because it was such a dominant performance. It really was. And it wasn't only the chances created, it was the way the chances were created, the way Southampton played through Tottenham, the movement from the midfield players, the fullbacks being really brave and playing really high. Tottenham just didn't have any answers for them. They really didn't. And you see Conte was really pleased to get in at half-time at 1-1. But yeah, at this level, you're always wondering, do we need to have taken one of those chances? Because to have that many shots and that many chances in the first half, are you going to get as many in the second half? Potentially not, but they want them to win the game. So yeah, you can look back on it now and smile. But yeah, the chances that the game should have been over by half time, I think.
Well, time to hear from the fans now, and the comments section is just being flooded with love for that performance, and understandably so. Carlos on Facebook has said, "What a performance, up the Saints." We've got a comment here from David as well. He says, "Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant, Ralph and the team." Andrew Williams also getting in touch. He says, "That was sensational." Julian, hello to you. Fantastic result, amazing performance from all the lads. Nicholas Berg, thank you for your comment. Brilliant stuff, up the Saints. And the Kai Tizard on YouTube says, "What a game. I'm going to remember this for the rest of my life. We were amazing." It certainly was one to remember for sure. Now, Adrian, I think it's fair to say that Ralph seemed pretty upset about the a penalty not awarded to the Saints after a handball by Højbjerg. That was towards the end of the first half. Was there anything in that for you?
I don't know. It was difficult to see. I didn't really see enough replays myself. The sort of angle on it. You can't quite see other than you see Højbjerg pull his arm away, but it kind of the ball bounces up and you wonder if it hits that area, sort of top of the chest, and he's just making sure his arm was out of the way. So it was very difficult to see, I think, from the replays that they showed. But you have to imagine that with VAR, if it was a handball, say that with VAR, there are later decisions maybe that they didn't look at and didn't get right, but. With the penalty, I would have thought if there was anything in that, I would have thought they would have given that.
Yeah, Dean, the referee had some more questions in the second half as well when it came to VAR decisions. Son obviously scored what put Spurs 2-1 up, and then we obviously saw VAR turn from villain to hero later on, disallowing Steven Bergwijn's goal. What did you make of all that?
I think it's definitely a foul for Son's goal. I think the defender comes over the top of Broja, and I can't see how that's not a foul. I've watched the replay many times because obviously Broja was down with the injury, and for the referee not even to have a look at it. And these are the moments where I think referees need to understand the situation a little bit. There's always a bit of game management from the opposition when you've conceded a goal to try and get the referee to review a decision. But I think you could see from the reaction of Southampton players, the reaction of the Southampton staff, that there was definitely something in this. And for peace of mind, I think the referee should have the choice to be able to go and look at it. It's definitely a foul. Me and Adrian were speaking before we came back on live that, was there time to potentially, as it's a head injury, to stop the game? I think if it's a head injury, it's dangerous for the player. Anything can happen. So was there time? I think potentially. It's a great goal from Tottenham, to be honest. It's a brilliant ball and a great finish from Son. But I think that's definitely a foul in my opinion, and I'd be really disappointed. But again, it doesn't matter now because Southampton went on to win 3-2, and the goal at the end being disallowed, it's clear and obvious that is definitely offside. But at the time, disheartened, just thinking, 3-3 draw, which is a great result. But after the dominance that Southampton had and to score so late, it would have been so disappointing. But the game had everything. I mean, that is a classic. You'll be watching that for years. That's Premier League gold if that even still exists. But yeah, great game, really good.
Yeah, what a game indeed. Well, then came a pretty mad 3 minutes, and I think this comment from Glynis Rose sums it up quite nicely. Excited, exhausted, exhilarated. Well done, Saints. Brilliant. Adrian, if you wouldn't mind, talk us through that Elyounoussi goal, because it was quite the header, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And you talk about mad 3 minutes. I think it was actually a couple of minutes before that. Armando Broja robs Harry Winks and goes through as well. And it felt like after Spurs went 2-1 up, it almost like it required so much effort for them to get back into that position. It felt like they stopped playing. And Southampton took advantage of that and then kind of found a second win themselves, had the Broja chance. And then, the Elyounoussi equaliser, as Dean said earlier on, great timing of the run to find the little gap in that Spurs defence. And obviously it has to, he's meeting an unbelievable cross almost. James Ward-Prowse is compared to David Beckham when it comes to free kicks. And I think those two crosses were Beckham-esque as well. Sort of first time whipped in perfectly, just, met with the timing of the run, just absolutely perfect for both goals, Elyounoussi and Che Adams as well.
Yeah, and then about 2 minutes and 20 seconds later, to be exact, Dean, Che Adams gets the winner. All of us here on the Saints live team watching on our little monitor went nuts when that one went in. It was great to see that, especially on the balance of play as well.
Oh, brilliant goal. I woke the kids up celebrating, so I got in trouble with the wife, but I don't know who cares about that. Southampton won, and it's a great goal again. The passing and the possession I had before the goal was fantastic. And then the switch of play, and it was actually It was actually a really good ball from Pero in, a flat cross. And Elyounoussi coming in again at the back post. And it's a good clearance, I think, from Davis. And Cole Walker-Peters keeps the ball alive. And Southampton did that really well tonight. Balls coming around the edge of the box. Second balls, you'd say, in a game, they kept the game alive. They kept Tottenham defending. And again, the ball's laid back. And I'm actually thinking, that's a bit hard for James to hit that in the first time. But with his quality, I mean, what a cross again. It's probably even a better cross. And Shea Adams, that is not an easy header. It looks like an easy header, but he would have seen that for a long time, realised that he's free. He's not necessarily running onto it. It's quite a standing jump, but gets good power into it. And Lloris gets nowhere near it. And the celebrations, Shea Adams sliding on his knees, the players celebrating. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. That is what football's about. And obviously with the fans there, brilliant following as well. Shea will remember those moments. They're the moments you really remember in your career where if you watch the replay, he scores the header and he's running towards the fans and he's looking up and you can just see the delight in his face and brilliant. What a result. And Southampton, if this team can really believe in themselves, I think they can do something special. I really do.
Yeah, absolutely. What a night. Well, before we look ahead to this weekend's fixture, let's hear from you, the fans, one final time. As I said, so much love coming in on the social channels. Lynn Emerson has said that was a breathless 96 minutes of excellent football. Saints were creative, resilient, strong and thoroughly deserved all 3 points. Come on, you Reds. Russ Ward, hello to you. Draw against City, win against Spurs. We are actually as good as any team in the league. Oh, no doubt about that, Russ. And Marco has said, impressive performance, so happy with the result, and guys deserve all the praise, top class.
Yeah, an absolutely fantastic result. One that puts Saints in 10th position in the Premier League table, but it doesn't get any easier as they face a trip to Manchester United in Saturday's early kick-off. Adrian, what are your early thoughts ahead of that one?
My early thoughts after tonight are that Manchester United will not be looking forward to facing Southampton after watching today. Southampton do a lot of things well that Manchester United struggle with and that will trouble Manchester United, which is keep the ball well, as we saw when they dictated, large spells of this game tonight, and they play with an energy as well. Things are not going very well for Manchester United. There's going to be a sort of perhaps nervous atmosphere. They're not going to be very confident coming into this game, and you've got Southampton on the flip side going to Old Trafford on the back of tonight. If they reach anything like the levels they did tonight, particularly in the first half, I would expect them to win at Old Trafford, which you might think you should never really expect anyone to go to Old Trafford and win. But this is not the Manchester United of old. They are and they can be vulnerable. And Southampton playing like tonight can definitely go there and get 3 points.
Yeah, as Adrian says there, Dean, Manchester United are in rather indifferent form just now, and two teams with contrasting confidence levels as well.
It is. If you look at it, really, it's a good time to play Manchester United. It's not a happy camp. They've gone out in the FA Cup to Middlesbrough. They've drawn against Burnley, where they're expected to win. And it just seems as though something's not quite right at the football club. So a great time to play Southampton. I think recovery is really important now for Southampton to be able to go again at that tempo. But I think what Southampton can do, and the vulnerability of Manchester United, like Adrian's touched on, is Southampton can overpower Manchester United. They're fitter. I think they'll be stronger and they're braver, and they will take that risk. And it's a free hit. The expectation is on Manchester United to beat Southampton 3-4-0 at the weekend. So if you can keep that crowd quiet and turn them around, yeah, I'm looking forward to the game, I must admit.
Yeah, well, we're very excited for it as well. Well, Adrian, Dean, thank you ever so much. Brilliant to have your company as always. I'm sure we'll all sleep well tonight after such an exciting game. Well, as we've mentioned, the Saints are back on the road this weekend. Of course, it's a trip to Manchester to take on the Red Devils. Kickoff is at midday, so you can join us on Saints Live from 10:45. We'll see you then.